Hi FlossTube, my name's Lorna and I am also known as the Ladybird Stitcher. Today is Sunday the 22nd of October and I'm here to do my update video. I'm going to start with haul because I've only got one item to show you, and that is the September fabric of the month from Colour Cascade Fabrics, and this is a Lugana 28 count piece in Lavender Fields Forever, and it's really pretty. Really nice. I don't have any plans for it yet, but I'm sure I'll find something. It's beautiful. So that's the fabric of the month for September. I still haven't received October's yet. And I only have 3 weeks to show you, so I'll show you those. This is probably going to be a short video. I don't have that much to show. So the first one is Happily Ever After, which looked like this the last time you saw it. This is the Mystery Sale by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, which they're doing for this year. And that's the last block, the October block, and that is Prince. This is King Arthur, sorry. And that's Camelot in the background, and his sword next to him. And that's how it's looking so far. I said I was going to go ahead and continue the border before next month, but I haven't done that yet. I might do that later this month, but that's where it is at the moment. So looking forward to finishing that one off. The first one, and then the second one I have I have Stocking Faithful Friends by Donna Gelsinger, and this is a Heaven and Earth Designs piece, which will look like this when it's finished. And here is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here I am now. Here it is now, rather. This one is stitched on 25 count Lugana 1/1, and I have finished page 2 on that one. So I pretty much finished off the bottom of this and these last 2 columns, and that's Santa's hat coming through there. And there's that one. Probably not my favorite Haid that I'm doing this one, but that's okay. I just want to go back to Happily Ever After. It was actually stitched on it's a Colour Cascade Fabrics. It's on 28 count Opal Lugana, and it is Ice Ice Baby, it's called. That's that one. And then last but not least, I was a bit obsessed by the other Haid that I'm working on, or one of the other Haids I'm working on, called Secret Door. I'm sorry, I can't remember the artist, but here is what it will look like when it's finished. And here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. I'm very, very pleased with this one. As you can see, the face is done, and there's the candle coming through. That column is almost all done. I've just got one little tiny stitch I'm missing there, but then once I finish this column, it will be page 1 completed. So I'm really happy with this one. It is only a story keep, so most of the detail shows up really early, which I kind of like about it. The larger piece from memory, I think it's really mainly the door and her dress, and I don't think that would have kept me as interested. A lot of background, a lot of browns, and although this one does have a lot of browns as well, because I'm already seeing the picture, it's kept me interested. So I'm really happy with her. And this one is also stitched on 25 count Lugana 1/1, which is my preferred full coverage method and fabric. So yeah, so there, and that's it for my whips. I did have 2 FFOs, so I haven't got them with me because I have 2 windows in front of me. No matter which way I sit in this room, there's going to be really bad glare for them. So I've taken some videos of them up on the wall and I will insert them here. So here is Lady of the Mist all framed up. I'm sorry about that glare, there's not much I can do about it. But there she is. I'm so pleased with the way it came out. Really nice. And then Under the Moonlight. This is Under the Moonlight, and I got the framer to put the curve around her tail and her ribbons. And they actually took a photo and they said they're going to put this one up on their website to show what they can do. So very happy with that as well. So very happy with both of those. Lady of the Mist, I was planning to frame as soon as I found a good framer, which I did, and I'm very happy with the way that turned out. And then the second one, Under the Moonlight, was kind of influenced by my daughter. She's really into The Little Mermaid at the moment, and I showed her that I stitched it when she was only about 1, and I showed it to her once and she kept wanting me to take it out and show it to her. It was in a drawer and I was just getting a bit worried that she'd touch it. Although I've told her not to touch it, she's 3 years old, she's going to do what I say not to. And you know, grubby fingers and all that, and she's been dying to touch it and play with it. And she actually said to me, why don't you put this one up on the wall? So when I went to pick up Lady of the Mist, I took that one along with me and asked them to frame that one. And I'm really happy with the way they've cut the matting around the tail and ribbons. So that's my FFOs. This is going to be an extremely short video. That's about all I've got as far as stitching goes. With books, I did manage to read 3 books. So that's probably why I haven't got much stitching to show you. It's because I've been focusing on reading a bit. The first one I had was The Lady of the Rivers by Philippa Gregory, and that was it's written from the point of view of a lady named Jacquetta, who was originally from the House of Luxembourg in France, and she's said to be a descendant of Medicina, I think, one of the Roman goddesses or Greek goddesses, or I'm not really into that kind of, well, I am into it, but I don't remember the name so well. But so she practices a bit of the occult in a time where it's extremely dangerous to do so, because there's a little bit of, well, the book kind of covers the very first witch trials in England. If you're going to read this book just for the occult, don't, because it doesn't have enough of it. But it does cover that period in time of the first witchcrafts, witch hangings and witch trials in England. So in the 1400s, and she manages to get away with it, but promises to her family that she won't practice it again. Anyway, it starts with Jacquetta watching a lady who's in a cage, and this lady happens to be Joan of Arc. She has come from, or she's in France, and they're thinking of sending her to England to be dealt with by the church there. I won't go into what happens, but that's how it starts. It's a very small portion of the book. Once that's over, Jacquetta marries a duke who wants her for her powers, because she can apparently see into the future. and he tries to get her to read for him, and that not read books, but read into the future for him. And then she then goes on to marry his steward. She becomes a good friend of Margaret of Anjou, who becomes the queen and is her lady in waiting. Her husband, who was the steward, becomes Baron Rivers, and he is often sent off to war, and it's a very unsettled time because it's the start of the Cousins' War in England. And so yeah, it basically covers the time of Henry VI and Margaret of Anjou, and what happens as they try to keep power while Henry VI isn't in the best of health. And when that finishes, where that finishes is in 14... Sorry, let me just check. I don't have the book with me, but I have the next one in the series. And it kind of, this one, which I'll show you in a minute, starts off exactly as the last one ended, in spring 1464. And this is called The White Queen by Philippa Gregory. Sorry about the glare. It is a library book, so it is covered in plastic. So I'm reading that one at the moment, and it follows the daughter of Jacquetta, who was the narrator in the Lady of the Rivers. Now these were written out of order. I think the Lady of the Rivers was actually written after the White Queen, and I think the White Queen was written after the next book in the series, but if you go onto the Philippa Gregory website, it tells you the order you should read them in or the order in which they come chronologically. So yeah, that one, it took me a while to read The Lady of the Rivers because it takes a while to kind of pick up. And once it's picked up now, the story's kind of getting more excited, and this one promises to be a little bit more exciting because it kind of carries on from there. I also read Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. I don't have it with me because I've returned it to the library. One thing I will say about that, a lot of people have compared it to, I'm going to forget the name now, The Girl on the Train. It is kind of written in the same style, but it kind of blows that one out of the water. It kept me going. I couldn't put it down. I think I read it in about 3 days. And the ending, you will not guess the ending. I know a lot of people have said the same thing, and you think you've guessed it halfway through, and then you think again that you change your mind, and you think, well, this is what happened to me anyway. You think that you change your mind at the end, and you think, no, I've got it now, and then it just it is an amazing book just for the ending, which is a huge surprise right at the end. You will not guess what's going to happen. So yeah, I would recommend that one just to get a big surprise at the end. The only drawback about that is reading it the second time probably wouldn't have the same effect. So that's probably not a book worth keeping, I don't think. So I'm glad I only got it as a library book, because I don't think I could read it again, because I know the ending now. So don't let anyone spoil it for you, because the ending is huge. And then that was kind of deep, and The Lady of the Rivers was kind of deep. So I picked this up called A Summer at Sea by Katie Ford, and I think Tina from Simply in Stitches was recommending this one. It's a light romance. It is about a midwife who travels from, well, she works in England, but her friend is about to have a baby, and she asks her to go and help out on a puffer in Scotland, and as a cook. So she goes there to cook on this boat in Scotland. And this one, it was nice and light compared to the other two that I'd just read. So it was a nice break from kind of having to not really think too hard, but it was just a nice light read. So I recommend this one. It's a nice summer book. We're obviously going into summer in Australia at the moment. So yeah, it's a nice, easy, relaxing read, and I really liked all of the characters. Even after again, this one, it kept me turning the pages. I finished it within a couple of days, and after a couple of days after, I was still thinking about the characters. So yeah, I really liked that. A Summer at Sea by Katie Ford. So that's it. It's probably my shortest video for a while. I'll go into plans. So the rest of this month, I want to finish this page on Secret Door. I'd like to finish that. It's only got one column left, so that shouldn't be too difficult. After that, I might go on to my chatelaine. I want to pick that one up again. I did pick it up a little bit this month, but there's nothing to show you. I just did. It's got a couple of well, not a couple. I'm doing the middle, and it has a bird, and around the bird is the clouds, and the clouds are done in tent stitching. But because and it tells you to do it over one, I'm working on linen. I don't know if that's why, but the white stitches were turning out to be really messy. They looked really messy. So, and it's 1/2 on 28 count, I believe, and they were coming out, they just looked really uneven and really messy. So what I've done is make those, I shouldn't really be talking about this because I'll explain it again when I show it to you, probably next time. But anyway, I've taken them all out, and I'm putting them in again as 1/1 tent stitches, which I will explain in my next video. So the rest of the next couple of weeks will probably take us into November. The 1st of November starts the Movember, which is an event in Mirror on the Wall, which is a Facebook group, and I will link them below. That will contain, sorry, I've just lost my train of thought. I will be starting Emerald Mermaid for that one, and I'm really excited. I've been really wanting to start something new, but I've currently got 15 on the go. By the end of this year, I expect to finish, I'll be finishing London Bus as soon as the crystals come in, which they still haven't come in yet. I will be finishing Happily Ever After when the last block is released. So that will take me down to 13 whips. And I really don't want to have too many on the go next year. I'd like to kind of focus on the ones I want to get done. I will be starting Emerald Mermaid, which will then take me up to 14 whips. And I don't want to have... I'm trying to get my whip numbers down. That's just how I feel at the moment. I often change my mind about that. I often think, well, what's the point? You know, I may as well enjoy it. I have been thinking a lot about the ones I have kitted up and wanting to start. So I may start another one. I may not be able to hold off. But that's the plan anyway, to hold off starting anything new until the 1st of November, when I will start Emerald Mermaid. And so that will be on the 1st of November. On the 2nd of November, in Australia, we usually get the next block of the Happily Ever After. That's usually released on the 2nd of the month in Australian time. So I will spend a day working on Emerald Mermaid. I will switch to Happily Ever After and finish the November block. And then once I finish that, I'll probably go back to Emerald Mermaid. Now, next month, I may not come back. So I like to do a video every 2 weeks. However, next month I'm really only going to be, I'm planning only to work on Emerald Mermaid and Happily Ever After. So I probably won't have very much to show you. So if that's the case, I'll only come back at the end of the month. So I will come back again towards the beginning of November. I'll give you an update then. At least that's the plan. And then I probably won't be back until the end of that month because there'll only be 2 whips to show you. So, but it's a plan. Plans change, so you never know. And that's it. That's all I've got. So I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you for all the comments on my last video and the likes. I really do appreciate them. There weren't any questions, but if you have any questions from this video, please leave them down below and I will reply to them. I reply to all the comments that I see, so if I haven't replied to any comment that you've left me, it wasn't intentional. I've missed it. Please feel free to write to me again. I do read every single comment, and I do like to reply to them, and I get a kick out of getting comments. I really enjoy seeing them and seeing that people are watching, and I'm not doing this just for my sort of tracking of my work. So I want to wish everyone well. I want to actually, Halloween is coming up next week. Yes, next week. So enjoy that. I won't see you until after that. I don't celebrate it myself, but for those of you who do, enjoy it. And I will see you again in November. Take care, everyone. Bye.